What's up, my home goals real estate slayers? What's good? Today we're going to we are gonna do another episode of Can They Afford Today. Even though I'm more stricter, you guys are still sending me the data. Love it. As long as you guys send them to me, I will do them. So today we're gonna be doing a Patreon member named, I swear this is what they told me to call them, Bay. So we're doing Bay today. I'm not calling them Bay. They asked me to call them Bay. I think it's like a nickname of sorts. So we are doing Bays. Can they afford? While we do this, we're going to really get to the deep of it and really figure out if they're in a better position to buy. And of course, I will give a bonus episode on Patreon, just going a little more in depth of like what I really think they should do. So if you're interested, links below. I have all of my home buying resources we're going to be using in today's video there as well. So if you want to access those, great. And of course, I always give priority to Patreon members. So if you have some data you want to send me, either email me or you can join the Patreon. I know, right? Oh, man, you're just pushing Patreon. Hey, man. It's tough right now. I gotta survive somehow. Here we are. I started the basics. So it's Bay, Baltimore, looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Price range they're looking in is gonna be about $300,000. But what I love about Bay, don't we just all love Bay, is he actually gave me the monthly payment. Because right now, guys, more than ever, monthly payment is important. Well, let me just redo this whole thing. I don't like how this is. There you go. Only the best for Bay. Basically, $2,100 a month is what he's looking to spend, which once again, like I was saying earlier, that is the main priority nowadays. If you're looking to buy, you're focusing on monthly payment. Housing market now being what it is, I don't think it's doable with the higher interest rates. We have a Credit Karma score of 796 and 750. Bay has a Bay, and so there's two of them buying. 796 and 750, very solid credit scores. We know this is an estimated value. We have about $34,000 saved. Nice. We are continually adding to this every month. We have each one credit card that we're paying down around $4,000 a piece. Credit minimums are about $100, $120 a piece. Excellent credit history. If you are only like you're putting them and then paying them off every month, perfect. I used to be in the wrong camp of thinking you need to carry a high balance. You're doing it perfectly. Our net monthly income is $6,400 and our gross income is about $116,000 a year. Our cars are paid off. Congrats. My wife recently paid hers off last month and was really excited. You guys deserved it because awesome. You should be happy. All my student loans have been paid off as well. I'm excited about that. Congratulations to you guys. We're hoping to have a more realistic look at what our next step should be and what we may be able to afford or do. We are familiar with getting pre-approved and understand your calendar on Patreon. Oh, okay. Yeah. The timeline calendar. Like they know what their timeline needs to look like. Thanks again for the opportunity. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. We love your content and videos. Well, thanks, Bay and his Bay. Appreciate you. Now, let's get to it. So, first and foremost, this is the number that you're trying to be around, which is awesome. I think because you have a higher income, we really want to make sure to stay more on the conservative side. Just because you have more money doesn't mean you have to spend it. If you're making more money, it's your opportunity to save more money, right? So let's first figure out an idea of what your monthly payment should. Here is an idea of what his monthly gross income is. So monthly gross income is about $9,666, and his net income is about $6,400. It's really important that we have both of these numbers, which thank you so much for providing that, because from that we can figure out your line of thoughts. Now, for all of the fans, you guys know what's next, but I'm going to just in case reinstate it for everyone to know. There's our range, right? And in this range, we're going to find our golden number. Really safe is 25% of your net income. Dave Ramsey promotes 25% of your net off of 15-year mortgage. So that's super, 15 years, even a higher payment. So that's, of course, the golden standard. But we live in Earth where things are realistic, and that might not be it. That's the goal that we achieve and strive for, kind of like these guns. But, you just don't have the genes. You know what I mean? Some of you guys just don't got what it takes. Then, of course, our really tight side is where I really don't recommend you push it past, which is 30% of your gross. And everything in the middle is just kind of a general range. Safe being, 30% of your net. Just right being, in my opinion, my favorite, 33% of your net, or a third of the monthly income you take home. And this is 28% of your gross. So we're not looking at what they qualify for quite yet. So off the bat, I can tell you that your number of $2,100 is just right. So obviously, this person, Bay, has done their work. They have done their research, and they are exactly where they need to be. And I love, if we can even, I don't know how things are in Baltimore. Once again, I will reiterate for all those folks, looking at housing market videos on YouTube and online, housing market has its flavors and tastes across every city and county. One person's video isn't going to dictate how every single video does. Get informed on your local market and get a better idea of how your local market's doing. So if Baltimore is, a little more aggressive, you can actually try to get 20, 30, 40, 50K off the price to really get this down to the safe zone, or if you get incredibly lucky, around the really safe zone. But I think you have really the opportunity to push this to 1900. So first of all, kudos, you got it right. If you're at $2,100, so I can tell you off the bat already that I'm really liking your budget and how it looks like. I think with a credit of a 796 to 750, you're gonna probably be around the almost high tier conventional, but just know they do use the lowest score of both folks. So I'm gonna have to give a yellow to your spouse or / partner, because if they were just around the same range as you are, which you guys are doing the right things already, but with that 750, I'm assuming that they have probably been doing it for less time than you, or they just recently started doing it. Either way, with time, which your timeline, I think that should be closer. At least to 760, 770, I think it gets you into a different threshold, and you'll be in a much better position. 1900 to 2100, I think you're looking exactly where you need to gross and net budget, everything. So super solid position you're going to be in. And of course, I'm not too familiar with the Baltimore market. You didn't give me a specific county and whatnot, which I don't blame you. I didn't tell you to, but for those in the future, don't just send me the city, send me like general neighborhoods you're looking in. It's a little too much info, I get it, but it's just Baltimore is such a big city. I can just pick out the city that, this area works, and then you're like, no, bro, that area sucks. Why are you picking that area? So I won't look up the actually cities, but let's say you're at 300K, use your 34,000 savings. So first of all, your saving situation, let's talk about that. Based off your situation, here's the cash to close calculator. Once again, all these calculators and tools are available on Patreon. Let's use $300,000. We're going to use a conventional type of loan. In this case, you having 34,000. I'm assuming you're putting 10% down, and I'm assuming that you're sending me this numbers already having a separate savings set up, because you want to make sure that's the first fund you feed. Always feed your personal savings before you feed your down payment funds. Okay. So let's just assume it's 10%. Let's assume you have an emergency fund already. Let's go general. Home inspections actually have gone up. So let's go to 500. Additional inspections 200, appraisal 600. Here I use a very general online closing cost calculator. So obviously I'm going to have you put Maryland. However, when you talk to a local realtor, make sure to get an idea what a better number is, and make sure you update that number with a more accurate. But in this case, we're going to use the situation. You're not doing any kind of rate buy down, so we're going to leave that 0. And whatever extra fees you might find out, then they're the case. So if you're paying your own closing costs, unfortunately, you are a bit short. 43,000 is where you're at, and you have currently 34,000. Well, actually, let's leave that 0. That's supposed to be left 0. And we're supposed to put today as the first day. So that means we are at initial deposit of 34,000. So you're about 93.56. Now, even though your state might be okay with your seller paying your closing costs for you, you still should plan to pay it. Just even if you don't end up using it, great. Now you have an extra 12K you can thank me for having, but you want to make sure I at least have that. So fortunately, you're a bit short. I don't know how much time you have left exactly. All you did is tell me is your timeline, but I don't know how much time you have. But let's say if you want to save that in 12 months, you can just save an extra $780 12 months, or if you want to save it in 6 months, you just save an additional $1,600 per month, and you can achieve that goal. So you're pretty close. You're almost there. You're tight. But obviously, if you get someone to pay your closing costs, that's another picture. But I really recommend you push and try to get that situation with the savings. So I do have an extra tip for you that I'm going to wait to tell you on the bonus episode of Patreon. So hopefully, Bay, you watch the Patreon episode I get for you as well. So you're going to put savings. You're almost there. So overall, your situation works. It works. You just need a little more extra savings to make it happen. And of course, I'm hoping that you do have your initial savings set. You have a 3-6 month saving period and all that. You have an investment started, all that stuff. So I'm assuming this is just your housing funds. And if I'm looking at it correctly, if you get them to pay your closing costs, great, then you're in a good shape. But I really recommend you just save it a little more. But overall budget, everything else works perfectly. Bay, you and Bay are going to be in a good spot. So yeah, I mean, good luck. and best of luck to you. If you want to be considered for a future episode, you know what to do. Either join the Patreon or email me. Patreon members do get priority. And of course, I'm going to end this now, but we'll keep going. If you're watching this on Patreon, I'm going to keep talking. So, see ya.